Breaking news tonight. Chaos and heartbreak erupt after shocking CCTV footage leaks straight from the ICU, footage that has left millions around the world in absolute disbelief. King Harris, fighting for his life before a dangerous brain surgery, was suddenly and brutally attacked inside his hospital room. The unbelievable video has gone viral, sparking one burning question: how could this happen inside a secured medical facility? The footage is terrifying. A masked intruder, reportedly tied to a notorious gang, slipped past security and stormed into the ICU. Cameras mysteriously cut out one by one, except for a single lens that captured it all. The figure approached King's bed, tampered with the machines keeping him alive, and launched a vicious attack. Nurses screamed, alarms blared, and chaos engulfed the ward as doctors rushed to save him. In seconds, the calm silence of the ICU turned into a living nightmare. The fallout was devastating. Tiny collapsed outside the hospital, screaming for her son's life. T.I., enraged and broken, declared this was no accident but a calculated attempt to silence his family forever. Social media is exploding with theories: an industry conspiracy, old enemies seeking revenge, even whispers of betrayal from within the hospital staff. Fans worldwide are crying out for justice. But tonight, one question echoes louder than all the rest. Will King Harris survive this attack, or has the industry's darkest plot gone too far? For years, King Harris has been seen as the bold, fearless son of hip-hop royalty. Yet no one could have imagined that his fight for survival inside a hospital would become the center of one of the most disturbing scandals the music world has ever faced. The video spreading like wildfire doesn't just show an attack, it exposes a horrifying reality. A masked man, dressed head to toe in black, slipped into what should have been the most secure area of the hospital. His movements were calculated, almost military-like. He walked directly to King's bed, ignoring everyone else, as if he knew exactly what to do and where to strike. When the alarms went off, panic erupted. Nurses screamed, machines flatlined, and desperate shouts for help filled the ward. One nurse even tried to stop the attacker but was shoved aside with ease. King Harris, weak and strapped to wires and monitors, couldn't defend himself. In that chilling moment, millions who later saw the footage felt their hearts sink. The son of T.I. and Tiny, raised under the spotlight, was left vulnerable in the one place he should have been safest. But the horror doesn't end there. The leak itself has raised even darker questions. Who released the footage? Why did only one camera survive while the others cut out seconds before the attack? Many online believe this was no random assault. They claim it was orchestrated, an inside job. Some are even pointing fingers at the music industry's darkest corners, insisting it was a deliberate attempt to silence King Harris before he could reveal secrets he allegedly knew. Others insist this was revenge, payback for T.I.'s long list of past enemies and rivals who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then comes the most chilling theory of all: whispers that someone inside the hospital was paid to look the other way, to cut the feeds, and to let the intruder in. The emotional toll on the Harris family is unbearable. Outside the hospital, Tiny collapsed in front of the cameras, clutching her chest and screaming her son's name. Witnesses described her shaking uncontrollably, begging doctors, "Please, save my baby." Meanwhile, T.I. erupted in rage. His voice broke as he told reporters, "This wasn't no accident. Somebody wanted my son dead. Somebody planned this." His words sent shockwaves through the media, fueling speculation that this was indeed a setup. Fans are torn apart. Hashtags like #PrayForKing, #JusticeForKing, and #Hospital Setup are trending worldwide. Millions are reposting the leaked footage with captions like, "How could this happen in an ICU?" and "The industry is evil, they're coming for the next generation." The tragedy feels even heavier when you remember that just hours before the attack, doctors were preparing King for a dangerous brain surgery, a procedure that already carried enormous risk. Now, after the assault, his condition has worsened. Doctors revealed the sudden shock nearly caused his heart to stop. Though they managed to revive him, his brain activity shows alarming instability. The attack didn't just delay the surgery, It pushed him closer to the edge. The hospital itself is now under fire. Protesters are gathering outside, demanding answers. How did an armed intruder breach a restricted ICU? Why weren't guards stationed at the door of a high-profile patient like King Harris? Why did the cameras cut out at the exact wrong moment? The lack of answers is fueling outrage, and the leaked footage has turned this into not just a medical crisis, but a full-blown scandal. Meanwhile, conspiracy theories spiral out of control. Some YouTubers claim this is part of a larger industry sacrifice plot, arguing that young artists and celebrity kids are being targeted as part of hidden deals. Others say rival gangs are behind it, pointing to King's recent online feuds. And some even suggest the attack was staged by insiders to create drama and distract from something bigger happening behind the scenes. But behind all the noise, one undeniable truth remains. King Harris is fighting for his life, and every second counts. His family is shattered. His fans are heartbroken, and the world is watching with tears in their eyes as the leaked ICU footage replays over and over, each frame more haunting than the last. Inside the hospital, sources say the mood is tense. Armed security guards now stand outside King's room. Visitors are heavily screened. And still, the fear lingers. If an attack like this could happen once, what's stopping it from happening again? T.I. reportedly hasn't left the hospital since the attack. One insider described him sitting in the hallway, head in his hands, whispering that he should have seen this coming. The guilt, the rage, the heartbreak, it's consuming T.I. And Tiny, still too fragile to face the cameras, is reportedly under medical supervision herself after fainting multiple times since the attack. This tragedy has sparked a larger global conversation. Are celebrities ever truly safe? If the son of a rap legend can be assaulted inside a hospital ICU, then who is untouchable? What does this say about the reach of enemies, the power of conspiracies, and the weakness of the very systems we trust to protect us? As the world debates, King Harris lies unconscious, surrounded by machines, his fate hanging by a thread. Will he survive long enough to undergo surgery? Will he wake up and reveal what really happened? Or will this mark the tragic silencing of yet another young life caught in the crossfire of fame, enemies, and dark conspiracies? One thing is certain, the leaked ICU footage has changed everything. This is no longer just about a young boy's surgery. It's about trust, betrayal, power, and the shocking reality that even in the safest places, you are never truly safe. The world is watching. The family is praying. And fans everywhere are asking the question no one wants answered. Is this the end for King Harris? The storm surrounding King Harris's attack is only growing darker. What began as a horrifying ICU footage leak has now exploded into a full-blown global scandal, one that threatens not only the Harris family, but the very reputation of the music industry. The video, replayed millions of times across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, shows more than just an attack. Viewers are dissecting it frame by frame, uncovering chilling details missed at first glance. In one moment, the masked attacker seems to look directly at the camera, as if mocking the world watching. Seconds later, as he reaches for King's monitors, the footage cuts to static before resuming. Many now believe this wasn't just an intruder. This was an inside job, carefully and professionally planned. Experts who have analyzed the video claim the man's movements suggest military training. He knew exactly how to move quickly, where to stand to avoid detection, and precisely which wires to pull to destabilize King's vitals. This wasn't random violence. This was precision. And yet, the biggest question remains: who ordered it? Social media theories are tearing the internet apart. Some argue King was targeted because of T.I.'s old rivalries, pointing to names from the Atlanta streets who may have waited years for revenge. Others say King himself was reckless, fueling online feuds and Instagram live streams where he taunted gangs, unknowingly painting a target on his back. But the most chilling theory, the one nobody wants to believe, yet everyone whispers, is that this was an industry-level hit. A calculated move to destroy T.I. by breaking his family where it hurts most. Meanwhile, the hospital is drowning in controversy. Journalists have uncovered that several security guards on duty that night mysteriously vanished from their posts minutes before the attack. Their explanations don't add up. One guard claimed he was on a smoke break. Another said he was called to a different floor, but no record of those calls exists. Was this negligence, or were these guards paid off? And then came the second leak, audio from a nurse inside the ICU. In the shaky recording, you hear screaming, alarms, and a doctor shouting, "He's crashing! He's crashing!" before chaos overtakes the room. The audio went viral instantly, plunging fans into heartbreak as they imagined King Harris gasping for life while his family stood helpless outside. The Harris family's suffering has become the world's tragedy. Tiny has been seen outside the hospital every day, wrapped in blankets, her face swollen from crying. Witnesses describe her breaking down repeatedly, whispering, "Why my baby? Why him?" And T.I., usually the strong, commanding figure, looks like a broken man. His fists slam against walls, his voice cracks with anger, and yet he refuses to leave his son's side. Insiders say he hasn't eaten in days, pacing the hospital floors like a man possessed. But the drama doesn't end at the hospital doors. Outside, protests have erupted. Fans, activists, and conspiracy believers march with signs reading, "Protect King," "Hospitals are not safe," and "Industry blood on their hands." The attack has become more than a personal tragedy. It's now a symbol of corruption, betrayal, and the fragility of fame. The emotional weight is crushing. Videos of young fans crying outside the hospital have gone viral, some saying, "King was our inspiration. He can't leave us now." Others flood social media with prayers, fueling a storm of hashtags and candlelight vigils across multiple cities. And then, the twist nobody expected. Investigators reportedly uncovered a large cash transfer to an anonymous account tied to one of the hospital's staff members. Could this be the smoking gun? Could it prove that someone inside the system sold King out? If true, it means the attack wasn't just possible, it was facilitated. That revelation has only deepened the sense of betrayal. Imagine bringing your child to a hospital for healing, only to discover the very people sworn to protect him may have become accomplices in his attack. Meanwhile, fans are digging through King Harris's old Instagram lives, uncovering eerie foreshadowing. In one clip weeks before the attack, King joked, "People want me gone. If something happens, just know they planned it." Those words are now haunting supporters, replayed endlessly as if King himself predicted his fate. But the tragedy has also split public opinion. Some critics claim T.I. is partly responsible, arguing his years of enemies and controversies inevitably put a target on his family. Others go further, suggesting this is karma, a cruel accusation that only adds to the Harris family's pain. Still, the majority stand with the family, demanding answers and demanding justice. Petitions are circulating, calling for an independent investigation into the attack. Lawmakers in Atlanta are now facing pressure to launch a full-scale inquiry into hospital security failures. Inside the ICU, the situation remains dire. Doctors confirm King is in a medically fragile state. His oxygen levels are unstable. His brain swelling has increased. Surgery cannot be performed until he stabilizes. Each passing hour feels like a countdown. For the Harris family, it's torture. For the fans, it's agony. The emotions surrounding this story are raw and overwhelming. This isn't just a celebrity scandal. This is life and death, caught on camera and played out before millions. People are crying, screaming, demanding answers. Who tried to kill King Harris, and why? The greatest fear is that we may never know the full truth. Because if this was really an industry hit, if powerful people orchestrated it from the shadows, then the truth may be buried, silenced, erased, just as they wanted King to be. For now, the footage plays on repeat across the internet. Each replay shatters fans. Each share makes the tragedy heavier. The Harris family remains trapped in a nightmare. And the world can only watch, pray, and wonder, will King Harris live to tell his side of the story, Or will the CCTV footage stand forever as the last testimony of his struggle? The aftermath of the ICU attack didn't stay within hospital walls. It spiraled into a nationwide storm of fear, betrayal, and unanswered questions. The leaked footage wasn't just grainy video. It became the centerpiece of one of the most explosive debates the entertainment industry has ever faced. And as the hours tick by, the weight of this tragedy crushes not only King's family but millions of fans worldwide. At first, many thought it was a one-time incident, a deranged intruder, maybe even a random act of violence. But when investigators dug deeper, what they found shattered every illusion of safety. Reports began leaking that the intruder wasn't a stranger at all. Instead, whispers suggested he had ties to people inside the hospital. Tiny was seen leaving the hospital in complete collapse, crying uncontrollably as she screamed, "They want to destroy my baby." Her anguished cries echoed through the cameras swarming outside. Clips of her breaking down on the pavement went viral, pulling millions into the chaos. But the real bombshell came when anonymous sources claimed this wasn't just about King Harris. It was a warning shot aimed directly at T.I. The theory was chilling. Someone wanted T.I. silenced. And instead of going after him, they went for the person closest to his heart, his son. Fans began piecing together old grudges, past rivalries, and enemies from the music world. Names from long-forgotten beefs resurfaced, and the internet exploded with speculation. Meanwhile, King's condition worsened. Doctors confirmed the attack left him with additional trauma. Though they managed to stabilize him temporarily, the words "critical condition" echoed in every press update. Across the globe, fans held vigils, lit candles, and demanded justice. Social media flooded with hashtags, #PrayForKing, #JusticeForKing Harris, #ProtectTheHarris family. But not everyone believes this is just about violence. Some claimed it was part of an even bigger conspiracy. Online theorists insisted industry insiders wanted King Harris silenced before he could reveal secrets he allegedly knew. Videos spread across TikTok and YouTube, racking up millions of views. They claimed King had information about record label corruption, backdoor deals, even life-threatening industry practices. Whether true or not, people clung to these theories, desperate for an explanation of why anyone would target a young man fighting for his life. Then the CCTV footage itself exploded online. What the world saw left them stunned. The intruder wasn't just adjusting machines. He appeared to deliberately tamper with King's oxygen supply. He hovered near his face, leaned over him, and quickly fled when alarms went off. The footage was grainy, shadowy, but clear enough to paint a horrifying picture. Millions who watched couldn't believe their eyes. The idea that someone could enter one of the most secure hospital wards in the middle of the night and attack a vulnerable patient shook the nation to its core. T.I.'s reaction was beyond explosive. Standing outside the hospital, cameras caught him shouting at reporters, "This was an assassination attempt. Don't get it twisted. They tried to kill my boy." His words ignited a firestorm. Some fans believed every word, pointing fingers at industry enemies. Others accused T.I. of fueling paranoia. But one thing was undeniable. This wasn't just a family tragedy anymore. It was a full-blown scandal threatening to engulf the entire entertainment industry. The controversy deepened when hospital staff began leaking conflicting stories. Some claimed they never saw anyone enter. Others admitted cameras had mysteriously gone down minutes before the attack, except for the one that captured the intruder. Theories grew darker. Was the hospital covering something up? Were bribes involved? Was someone powerful pulling strings from the shadows? Meanwhile, Tiny was too broken to speak. Photographs showed her collapsing in T.I.'s arms outside the hospital. Fans wept at the sight of the woman who had always been the family's backbone, now crumbling under the weight of the attack. But the Harris family's enemies didn't stay silent. Trolls flooded social media with cruel comments. "T.I.'s past is haunting him. You reap what you sow." Those words only fueled his rage. He fired back online with cryptic posts about snakes hiding in plain sight. Millions speculated who he was targeting. Then came the darkest twist. rumors spread that the intruder hadn't acted alone. Allegedly, multiple people were involved, and whispers suggested someone close to the family may have tipped off the attackers. The possibility that betrayal came from within shook fans to their core. And as King Harris remained in critical condition, the world waited for answers. But instead of clarity, the story only grew heavier, sadder, and more twisted. Protesters began gathering outside the hospital, demanding protection for King Harris. Candlelight vigils stretched for blocks as fans cried openly, chanting his name. The city itself transformed into a symbol of grief and outrage. And through it all, one haunting question refused to die. Who wanted King Harris dead? Was this revenge for T.I.'s past beefs? An industry conspiracy to silence the next generation? Or someone closer than anyone could have ever imagined? The attack on King Harris wasn't just an act of violence, it was the spark that ignited a nationwide debate on safety, betrayal, and the deadly shadows of fame. With each passing day, the mystery only grows darker. One thing is certain, the world may never be the same again after seeing what happened inside that ICU. Because this was not just an attack on one young man lying in a hospital bed. It was an attack on a family, a legacy, and on every person who ever believed hospitals were safe, life was secure, and fame could shield you from danger. That illusion has now been shattered. The CCTV footage is out there. Millions have watched it. Millions have cried. A son fighting for his life. A mother collapsing in grief. A father screaming for justice in a world that feels colder, darker, more dangerous than ever before. Ask yourself, who turned off those cameras? Who opened those doors? Who wanted this young man silenced before he could even heal? Was it random? Or was it a message? A warning? A punishment meant to break not just T.I. and Tiny, but every fan who dares to believe in them? The truth may never be revealed. But one thing is undeniable. King Harris's fight for survival has become the fight of an entire generation.